Hello and welcome back. Today we are talking all things burnout and how you can look for the signs of burnout in yourself and in the people around you, and what you can do to effectively break up with burnout forever. So we noticed a growing trend with all of the clients that we worked with, and then global research started to say the same things, which is we are having a burnout epidemic at the same time as a loneliness epidemic. And yes, you can absolutely bet that those two are connected. But burnout used to be a predominantly female experience, and often with people who worked in the helping fields, where they experienced a lot of emotional stress and compassion fatigue. So nurses, teachers, frontline workers in many ways. But that has absolutely changed post the pandemic. And we are now seeing numbers around 1 in 2 people, 50% of people, who are either heading to burnout, teetering right on the edge of tipping over into full burnout, or actually in burnout and not even realizing or acknowledging it. It's terrifying to us that people are accepting that this is a way to live, that we are in some kind of sad state of constant survival, and we've forgotten what it feels like to be fully lit up, alive, and thriving. So absolutely part of the reconnection revolution that we want to create in the world is to break up with burnout forever and help people figure out how to get burnout off the agenda and back to focusing on breakthroughs for them, whatever those things are. So I want you to take a minute and just tune in with yourself and think about your experience at work, at home, whatever's relevant to you, and notice whether you've started to feel a bit numb, emotionally numb, disconnected from the actual work you're doing, including tasks at home, the people around you, and even from yourself. The key thing about burnout, when you boil it all down, it's absolutely about emotional exhaustion and ongoing unresolved stress. But the key thing that we know about burnout is it's a disconnection from self and a disconnection from meaning. And if you've ever been burnt out, or you're teetering on the edge now, then you'll recognize some of those feelings about waking up on a Monday morning and thinking, why am I doing this? We talk about the Sunday scaries a lot in our business, which is that feeling on a Sunday night when you might have had an amazing weekend and you're thinking forward to the week ahead, and all you feel is dread. And you just wish the weekend could go on for longer. And if you're really, really burnt out, you're probably not really enjoying your weekends either, because burnout's not selective. It doesn't mean you're just disconnected at work. If you're disconnected, you're disconnected. If you are emotionally numb at work, you're emotionally numb. And one of the terrifying things about emotional disconnection and numbness is we cannot selectively numb one emotion. So we might want to feel less angry, less frustrated, less something. But by numbing ourselves to that feeling, we're also effectively numbing ourselves from joy and pleasure and happiness. So looking really at your own experience right now, and if you're going to rate yourself out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, what number would you give yourself on how lit up you are, how meaningful your work and your life feels, how connected you feel to the people around you, to yourself? A key thing to look out for is cynicism. When we start to feel really cynical about the world and work and other people, you can be sure that there's a bit of burnout biting at our heels. So what do? If you're starting to see this in yourself, or if you lead a team and you're seeing it in your team, or you might be seeing it with people at home, with friends and family, I guarantee you are seeing it because 50% of people, 1 in 2, are experiencing it right now. What can you do to help them and help yourself get out of burnout and back into thriving? And a key part of that is looking at your whole experience, your work and your life, and reprioritizing what's meaningful for you, where you feel your whole authentic self, where you feel like you're leaning into your skills and your talents, you're contributing and making a difference, whether that's at work or home. To really figure out whether you are experiencing the full range of emotions, and if not, starting to become aware of that. So stopping the slide where it is. I often use an analogy of a slide, actually, that you kind of, with anything, that's not great in our lives, whether it's addiction, eating disorders, whether it's spiraling relationships and negative cycles, I often have an image of climbing up the ladder of a slide, which many of us did as children. And you get to the top of the slide and you sit down and there's that moment where the slide kind of tips and you're really just teetering on the edge. And if it's a steep slide, you know that as soon as you let go, you're not going to have any control. That's it. You're straight down the slide to whatever the bottom is. And I think that's where many of us are right now. So if you're feeling like you're climbing the steps or you're teetering right at the edge of the slide, we need to stop the slide before you lose all control of it. So some of the things to think about for yourself are really what we call the 1%ers. What are the small actions you can take every day? The boundaries that you can put back in place? How can you put yourself back in the driving seat of your life, whether that's at work or at home, and reprioritize things so that you are doing the things, small things even to start with, that light you up, that help you feel your feelings more, that help you feel like you are living a vibrant, thriving life. So if you are feeling that you are teetering at the top of that slide, edging into burnout, then follow along on any of our socials. We're publishing a lot of content, tips, tricks, things you can do to start to change that around. And if you really want to break up with burnout forever, we've produced an online program so that anyone can access what we do. It's on our website, celestehalliday.com, under online programs. And it takes you through a really detailed process to assess where you are now with our burnout barometer and the steps you can really tangibly, practically take to get from burnout back into breakthroughs. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure hanging out with you. And if you have feedback or thoughts that you would like us to talk to, then please get in contact. We would love to connect.